It was good. Yeah, how y'all doing? About to get it in right now. You know, so I was looking for this old book. This week we had this LeBron James guy. Um, Apparently he's either the school is built or he's doing something with a school, right? And I'm gonna get into that in detail down the line, but basically our people didn't fuck with the foreigner schools, man. And so I was looking for that text. Luna, how you doing? Good to see you that you're present. Appreciate your presence. So like our people didn't fuck with the foreigner schools. You know what I mean? I was looking for that text, and while I was looking for that text, I came across some other great books that I do have. You know what I'm saying? I've read a lot of great books over the years. When I just wanted to share those with you. As you see, I got these tabs up right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. This book right here is History of America Before Columbus. All right. I downloaded this a while ago, but you can most likely get this on archive.org. I believe that's where I got it from. Yeah, it says it right there. Digitized by the Internet Archive in 2007 with funding from Microsoft Corporation. And here's the link right here. This is the link. All right. Now, see, I've read a lot of texts, and I value some of these texts because, the foreigners didn't have to do this. As you saw, Microsoft Corporation, they provided funding for this. Earlier today, I did a presentation on aiding and abetting. Well, in my opinion, this is an aid to us. This is support for our people right here. We don't have to read dumb shit every day. We don't have to give it any energy, any attention when we can give, things of quality. You know what I'm saying? Things, which will support our intellect, our intelligence, our mindfulness, our attentiveness. We can engage in these kind of activities. We don't have to engage in the rhetoric, This book here, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it, but I will zoom in on this because I just want to show you. These are the details in which the foreigners put into these prints. Like these are these are digitized versions of real books. They took the time to prepare all of this. Maps, sketches, the whole nine. And just be honest with you, like I appreciate it. And this says right here, Mound Builders Works near Chillicothe, Ross County, Ohio. I don't know if I'm saying Chillicothe correctly, but this is what it is. Mound builders. This book talks about the mound builders here. History of America Before Columbus. According to documents and approved authors. Member of the Archaeological Club of the Land, Van Ways, and of the United States Catholic Historical Society, honorary member of the American Catholic Historical Society of Philadelphia, Volume 1, American Aborigines. Philadelphia and London, printed in 1900, published, if you will, copyright 1900. This is the preface of the book right here. Let me check the status of the chat. Oh, I'm all right. I'm good, Luna. All right, so continuing, The author begins, he sets it off. This is the preface of the book. He sets it off. For several years, I searched the Vatican secret archives. I mean, that's some shit. That's a hell of an introduction, right? That's a hell of an introduction. For several years, I searched the Vatican secret archives to obtain reliable information regarding the history of one of the Roman pontiffs, Alexander VI. who is as much slandered as he is little known. This is why I deal with King Ferdinand's letter to the Taino Arawak Indians, the Intercatera, texts of that nature, because this is Alexander the Sixth's work. If I recall correctly, there was a series of Alexanders. I believe there was a fourth as well as a sixth that were all Roman pontiffs, aka popes. All right. This book right here is pretty detailed. 678 pages. All right. Goes some great detail in this book. I'm going to fast forward to the table of contents. Now, this is something in which I do appreciate about this book. The author gives you the archives, pardon, thing just did that. 1 second. Archives and manuscripts consulted. Archivium S. Consistori Vaticanum Rome. It gives the dates of the published text. I mean, this is beautiful. We got people talk about Scholars Corner and all of this other gibberish. But are any of these quote unquote scholars, these internet scholars, these master teachers, I study under so and so, are any of them going into these kind of records and documents? I mean, it's real simple here. Watch how I do this. Look, I just highlighted it, right? You see the highlight is off. But look, Google still got it. I'm gonna run a Google search on that. All right. Now we have all kinds of links here. Various links. We need people to go into this kind of research, to engage in these kind of studies. We should not be dependent on foreigners for any of this. Kiowa, how you doing? Peace and bear grease. Haha, that's what's up. I mean, this is good literature here, in my opinion. And as you saw, this book right here pertains to the American Aborigines. Let's go right here to the table of contents. We're in it right now. Okay, well, this is appendix of documents. All right. These foreigners was documenting everything. Oh, pardon me. We are. Oh, my bad. We are in the table of contents. My apologies. Up to the appendix a moment ago. Let me scroll back up. Let me zoom out as well so we can get it all right here and see it clearly. And keep in mind, this is the perspective of the foreigners. We have to construct our own perspective of ourselves, of each other. We have it by default. Now, I want to show you all this right here in the table of contents, right? I want you all, if you're interested, to feel free to get into this. This is great information here. You know what I mean? It kills a lot of confusion. You know me, I'm about killing confusion. Kill foreign media, kill propaganda, kill your TV, etc. You know what I mean? We have to inform our daughters and sons. We're moving into the future. Present goes into the future. And it circulates and recycles and this, that, and other. But check it out. Chapter 1, Origin of the American Man. So first it begins with Darwin's monoron evolving into man. Okay. Our Indians, sudden transmutation of species adapted by the latest scientists. Human descent from an ape, if not disgraceful, yet unscientific. Next is the ape man, extremely ancient. The ape man, not an American autochton. Wow. This is just in chapter 1 here, y'all. The ape man. Then there's a question here: did God create several human races? Then there's the American Redskins, no autochthonous race. See, the shit gets very interesting. Unity of the human species. I mean, this is this author's perspective here. And this is after years of studying. After years of studying, going into the Vatican, secret archives, and this, that, and the other, this author compiled this book. This is just volume 1 of this book. And, we have to, assess, analyze quality information as it's presented to produce our own narratives for ourselves. We cannot allow these foreigners to speak for us. That is crazy. Our people have oral tradition which is passed down throughout the generations. At the same time that we have our oral tradition, we can also be mindful of, the foreigners, communication regarding us, what they're saying to each other, because they're saying improper things amongst themselves regarding our people. I believe it's our duty to correct them on that, because that goes into propaganda, that goes into slander, that goes into fraud. And we can not support none of that. Yo, Grand Unchallenged Sword, how you doing? Apologies for the ignorance with the dudes trolling at the end of the live earlier. Can't peep this now, but watch later. Hey, Grand Unchallenged Sword, I appreciate you. Ignorance is ignorance, right? And they say ignorance is bliss. So, they got what they got. You know what I mean? Perhaps they're blissful with their ignorance. I have no idea. But I appreciate your presence. And definitely, I'm going to try to keep this one brief. I just want to introduce these books. I will post these into the A4 Book Club. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but there's a group called A4 Book Club. We only deal with quality information in that group, and we definitely encourage, our people that enjoy literature, that enjoy books and things of that nature, to engage in dialogue. Give book reviews and this, that, and the other. It's just something, healthy to do. You know what I mean? So definitely, I appreciate your presence, and yeah, definitely give me feedback on the video. I just like doing this. You know what I'm saying? I like informing the people. So as we see in this table of contents, we got some very interesting information, interesting contents of the book, if you will, right? So remember, these authors, many of them, they constructed their own narratives and perspectives. They were sanctioned by various foreign governments, things of that nature, different factions within those governments, all right, so that their agendas can be met. So therefore, when we read works from C.S. Constantine Samuel Rafinsky, I believe his name was, where he says that there was a lot of authors prior to him, various quote unquote scholars, that was engaged in creating fictions pertaining to the Americas and the Americans. We have to keep that in mind. To this day, foreigners are slandering our people. They're defaming our character. And just to be honest with you, we have allowed it to happen. In one of the texts I previously showed you, it said that, our people have always been strong. I'm paraphrasing and summarizing, but our people have always been strong. Politically, physically, the whole nine. Our people have always been strong. But one thing in which we were not strong in, which led to, certain, let's say, negative results, if you will, we didn't know letters. We wasn't writing. We wasn't engaged in legal studies for quite some time. We really didn't care for it because it was unnatural to us. So therefore, it was irrelevant, right? But meanwhile, for the foreigners, it was relevant, and they was bringing in more of their own people, which supported the relevance. Their people give relevance to all kinds of corrupt activities. I mean, to have to write down laws when the laws should be natural, universal, and things of that nature. I mean, that says something about the people in which you are around and amongst, where you have to tell people that that is wrong and this is right or this, that, and the other. It's crazy when you have to do that. But as we see here, there's different species of quote unquote humans, mankind, and man. Our American people have always been known to be man. And I'm not saying man in regards to gender. I'm saying man as far as a type of species. We're not mankind. We're not human. These are misnomers. Those pertain to different classifications. They call it phylums and genus of species. Those are categorical placements of species. Check status in chat real quick. Okay, cool. Everybody doing good? Wow, we got our first dislike already. Cool, that's what's up. Appreciate you, disliker. Keep disliking. That's what it is. Keep up the good work, buddy. God damn. All right, so here we go. Go chapter 2 now. Antiquity of man in America. Scientists disagree on the antiquity of man in America. Who's scientists? Are these our scientists? But nevertheless, this is a great book here. So just going to breeze through. Please get into it, y'all. Take the time. The book is free. It's free online. It's free online. Other ancient American nations, ruin of Maya cities in Yucatan. Great antiquity of the Maya cities. The Maya monuments are of Western pattern. Maya civilization different from the Aztec, etc. I mean, beautiful book here. So I'm gonna leave that there for a moment. Now I'm gonna go into this other book here. Another great book. I believe this is George Catlin or Caitlin. All right. Yep, George Catlin. That's his name. Published 1857. Title is Letters and Notes on the Manners, Customs, and Conditions of the North American Indians. Written during 8 years' travel amongst the wildest tribes of Indians in North America. All right. As you see right here on archives.org, there's numerous versions which you could download. EPUB, they got full text, they got a straight text version of the book. PDF, they got zips, torrents, the whole nine. I don't know how savvy you all are out there, but this book is great. I love this book as well. Just gonna run this back real quick. Where we at? Find this table of contents. All right. Look at the detail of these books here. I mean, these authors was not bullshitting. I'll give you an example of them not bullshitting. And back in the day, they was etching. All right. I'm not sure if y'all know what etching is, but that's what was going on. All right. These were engravements that were placed on the metal plates and this, that, and the other, carved into metal. Like they carved all of this. And from this, they inked it and then they stamped it onto paper. And therefore, they was printing books and things of that nature. You know what I mean? But look at the detail. These people do not look like these Native Americans, do they? I'm a Native American, right? They don't look like none of them. Because if they did, they would have been a color of the paper. You see, it would have been a color of the paper. They wouldn't took the time to do the shading work, the different hues. See what I'm saying? They would not have done that. Where we at? Back here. Okay, cool. Let me locate this table of contents real quick. Contents right here. Letter number 1. Wyoming, birthplace of the author, his former profession, first cause of his travels to the Indian country, delegation of Indians in Philadelphia, first start of the Far West in 1832. 1832 is not that long ago, y'all. I mean, listen to the description. I mean, letter 3. Character of Missouri River, beautiful prairie shores, picturesque clay bluffs. I mean, goddamn. The foreigners, they went in detail to describe our lovely American land, our sacred American land. I mean, this is beautiful here. They go into so much detail, y'all. Please take the time. I can only encourage you. That's all I can do. Can't make you do nothing. I ain't trying to make you do nothing. I ain't trying to convince you. I ain't trying to convert you. I ain't trying to do none of that. I'm just saying. Look at this right here. Letter number 6, page 70, mouth of Yellowstone. Medicines or mysteries, medicine bag, origin of the word medicine, mode of forming the medicine bag, value of the medicine bag to the Indian, and materials for their construction. Blackfoot doctor or medicine man, his mode of curing the sick, different offices and importance of medicine men. I mean, check it out. Check it out. It's good information here. Have discussions about it. This is better than TV to me. To me, it is. This is things in which, I mean, we have so many people go run to the movie theater, spend 2 hours plus. They had to prepare, spend all kinds of money in preparation to go see various foreign films, right? Being good consumers. What if the same energy that went into that went into this? Just saying. I mean, you hear things from your peoples about you know, you receive old tradition from your peoples telling you, yo, this is our people, this is what we do, da 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 da. And we've been dealing with so much shit over the years, Indian removal acts, relocation acts, you know what I'm saying? The foreigners wanted to make us citizens, and they wanted to abuse us, mistreat our people, subjugate us, all kinds of shit done happen. Integration, all kinds of shit. We got the education system, we got all of this shit. But then what happens if we spend some hours dealing with this kind of information here? We gain access to the information that's withheld from our youth. This is withheld from our youth. Our youth aren't given these books. Look how clean these books are. Isn't this something? I mean, we was discussing quizzes and tests earlier today, right, on the previous lives. Quizzes and tests. Isn't this something in which we should be quizzing and testing our youth on? Look at this. Their method of boiling meat pipe dance. John, a chief and wife. His visit to Washington. Dresses of women and children of the Assiniboines. I'm just saying, y'all. Bathing and swimming. Peculiarities, complexion. I mean, this is what our youth needs, in my opinion. Shit, I wish I got this when I was a little boy growing up. I'm just saying. How y'all feel about that, though? How y'all feel? Should our youth be getting this kind of information? In regards to American history? This is American history right here. This is purely about North American Indians. They talk about our kids are going to school. We said it earlier, and so many of us know it in grade school. They said they killed all the Indians and the only Indians left on reservations or some shit like that. The Native American, yo, they done ran a motherfucking quadruple double whammy on us. That's 4 times 2 right there. That equals 8. They fucked us up 8 ways with like a couple sentences, a couple statements, right? Look at this. Look at this. The details of the Mandan village. Letter number 11, page 135. Location, village, former locations, fortification of their village. Description of village and mode of constructing their wigwams. Description of interior, beds, weapons, family groups. You hear that? Family groups. This is how people traveled. And also want to add to that equation right here, these books, these authors, like remember the author said he spent 8 years traveling amongst the wildest Indian tribes. These are nations of people though. And so they were basically scouting. They was returning with their information. These are letters and notes. A letter is what you're sending. Notes is what you keep for yourself, right? Your letters is what you send to someone else. Notes is what you keep for yourself, right? Family groups, how people travel together. You'll see that in census records. When you do your genealogy and you're going through these old census records, you'll be seeing how your people traveled in groups. You will see that. Now, I don't know what this word means here. Indian garrulity. Let's take a look at this word, garrulity. I'm not sure what that is. Garrulity. Definition. I bet you're gonna get it in right now. Excessive talkativeness, especially on trivial matters. Wow. Wow. I mean, that shit is real to this day, right? Amongst our people, excessive talkativeness, especially on trivial matters. Our people stay talking some trivial shit, man. Yo, jokes, fireside fun, and storytelling. I mean, these are things we have to pay attention to. The foreigners studied us thoroughly, intentfully, so they can secure their agendas. This right here is pertaining to the Mandans. All right. Now, this is what I'm saying. We have to pay attention. We have to pay close attention to these texts where, for example, here, head dresses with horns. It says it's a Jewish custom. Is that true or false? The foreigners stayed trying to associate our people with people in which they have always known. We're completely different from these people. Oh, we have influenced the entire fucking world. And this is why I often get frustrated when I'm reading some of these old texts, because I don't like the false association, the demonization, the character assassination, defamation of character. I don't like a lot of shit. And this is why we have to construct our own narratives. We can no longer let these people speak for us and tell us who they think we are when we know who we are. Jazzy's a Fox. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm glad you're present. Hey, if y'all got any questions, if y'all want me to stop while I'm going through these texts, because like I said, I'm gonna try to keep it brief. You know what I mean? I got to get back to some work and all of that, but I just felt like inspired to share these texts with you. I don't know if other people have shared these texts. I don't know, but I got a stack of old books. You know what I mean? It's digital. I got a hell of a digital library on crazy subject matter. But yes, I'll be going back and forth between these books and the chat. This is how I do. And if y'all got any questions, I will take a look in the chat. and I will answer your questions. You know what I'm saying? I'll do my best to answer your questions, you know? So yeah, like, I mean, still here. All right, now it's talking about polygamy, reasons and excuses for it. Reasons and excuses for it. Marriages, how contracted, wives bought and sold, paternal and filial affection. I mean, this pertains to the men than people here. I mean, this is very interesting, and we have to, you know, assess, analyze. You know, we have to know who we are just as much as we have to know who our neighbors are. You see, for myself, I value awareness. I value it to the point where I encourage it. I value it to the point where I can embrace it with ease. You know, a few hours ago, I was speaking to, some of my neighbors, guys in my area. And I see these guys regularly and all of that, right? Well, I just became aware that one guy, he's an older dude, he got a background in doing security and this, that, and the other. Well, he informed me that due to him chilling, you know, with another guy, well, he's been doing drugs. Now, I see these guys regularly, and you know, I know who does what, and I'm just aware like that, right? And like I said, I appreciate awareness. This guy told me who he got the drugs from, and then today he informed me what kind of drugs he did. It was shocking and surprising to me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! Like, why you doing that shit, man? This motherfucker, man, like I said, he got a background security. He's a foreigner. Why the fuck is you smoking crack, motherfucker? As old as you are, and you are aware of the effects of that shit. Why are you smoking crystal meth? Why are you sniffing coke? Why are you doing all of that shit when you know better? I'm like, Duke, I don't want to see you go downhill. Because I done seen this shit too many times before. I'm just having coffee, drinking water when I'm learning all of this shit. And so I'm like, damn, you doing this? And so while I'm telling him, I'm just saying to him, I'm just asking him why he doing it, and I'm telling him like, yo, just leave it alone, man. I don't want to see you get fucked up. There's another guy there who's known him longer than me. He informs me about another guy. This other guy is 23 years old, young brown skinned kid. And apparently, he smokes meth too. He's smoking that shit. All right, so you smoking that shit. All right. Now, are these people trustworthy? Since I have this kind of awareness, can I trust these people? Highly unlikely. So this is why I value awareness. This is why I encourage awareness. We have to pay attention to our environment. We have to be aware of all nouns. I say pronouns. You have to be professional out here. I mean, come on, yeah. People can be professional with the 9 to 5. Some people call it a plantation, right? I don't call it a plantation. Yo, you're working. You're providing a service. You're extending your energy to a third party so that you can provide for yourself. I can't call that a plantation. That would be incorrect by my definition. All right. So when we are aware and we're professionals, we're engaged in pronoun activities, right? Professional people, places, and things. The activities, the engagements, the performance, the consistency of performance, etc. Right? We're aware of these things, right? but we're only doing it part-time or full-time for the foreigners, but part-time for ourselves in our day-to-day. We provide good customer service for the foreigners, but we don't provide good customer service for each other. Okay, so we're not treating each other like customers, right? But are we treating each other like people? Can we provide good people service for each other? I mean, can we just simply be serviceable to each other? Can we provide a good service for each other? I mean, so many people have had experiences with quote unquote black business, right? And by default, those businesses, oftentimes, they have been black. All the synonyms of black. Every single last synonym of black: sad, miserable, calamitous. I mean, the list goes on. As I said previously, these are psychological states, as it shows and lists. These are psychological states, statuses. When someone tells you that they're black and they're proud, that should be like a notification on your phone, but in your mind, within your spirit. It should be like a notification like that. And so when we compare what we see today to what was written 200 years ago regarding our people, well, goddamn, it should be obvious that we should be advancing ourselves, correct? I'm just gonna keep breezing through. Now, of course, you got different people that do different things, you know what I mean? And we can appreciate our people for doing what they do. I mean, shit. We got options out here, right? But this is a great book, though. I mean, look at this. Yo, they had a scalp dance. These are our American people, man. To this day, we got dances for everything. Shit, you had the young dude Bobby Smurder not too long ago. What he did, the Smoney dance, right? He did the Smoney dance. Him and all of his people. These are young dudes. They had a Smoney dance. Back in the day, we had a scalp dance. We had our American people doing scalp dances, right? Shit, I think I'm gonna make a Coward Season is Over dance. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just saying, right? I think we should make a Scalp Season is On dance. I mean, why not, right? This is what we do. We're creative by default. Like I said earlier, our youth is the truth. Our youth has the truth. Period. When we listen to our youth, man, I mean, yo, I see some of these kids today. Our youth, foreign youth. I ask myself sometimes, why are the foreign youth attracted to our American youth? How come the foreign youth looks at our youth like, yo, these are good people. Meanwhile, their mommies and daddies be talking shit. Right? The foreign youth are taught to exploit our youth. Yeah, make friends with them so you can use them pretty much, right? It's fucked up when you experience betrayal and treason as a child. That shit is fucked up. And we are fully aware of this. But are we informing our youth of this, though? Like, I'm not a father currently. I am looking forward to it at some point in time. Absolutely. However, preparations have to be made. It's not like once upon a time ago, as these books reveal. Okay, so anyway, like I said, these are great books here. Now I'm about to go and get into this other book here. I believe this is the James Buchanan. Yes, James Buchanan. Okay. We got two versions of the book up right now. And that's something else I got to pay attention to. All right. The different versions. As you see here, one digitized version is 399 pages. This other one here is 406 pages. These are the cover pages of the book. And if you look here on the left page, all right, we have a map. Of the East Coast going down to from Canada all the way down. Look at this. They called it growing land. Grown land. Now apparently it's called Greenland, right? Ain't some interesting shit, y'all. Got the Caribbean Sea right there. I mean, these are details in which we have to pay attention to. Check the status of the chat real quick before I get into this one, because I love this book. This is one of my favorites, to be honest with you. This is one of my favorites. James Buchanan, and he's an Esquire. His Majesty, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. His Majesty Counsel for the State of New York. You see that shit? London, printed for Black, Young, and Young, Tavistock Street. And there's the date. Just get it in. Let's go ahead and get into this one. This is one of my favorites, y'all, so please pardon me. Look at this. Look at it. You see these authors. Do you see how these authors conduct themselves? This is how you know that there is an agenda. Dedication. This is the author's dedication. To His Excellency, Lieutenant General the Earl Dalhousie. Most likely, this is the motherfucker. Lieutenant General the Earl. All right. Get the fuck out of here. Yo, these people were sanctioned. They were sponsored. They were given permission to be the scholars they were. They just didn't wake up one morning like, hey, I'm going to go to North America and I'm going to do this. Nah, buddy. You had to come from you had to be groomed. All right, so now let's go to get it in. Well aware, my lord, of the effects produced by splendid talents, great personal worth, and hereditary rank. You hear that keyword? And hereditary rank. That means, like I said, he was groomed. In promoting any work of benevolence, I solicited and obtained permission to dedicate the following pages to your excellency. Oh, man. But yeah, I do love this book, though, y'all. But please pay attention. Look at this. Look at these authors, man. Just look at them. Look at what they was writing. Do not take it. What they said. Take it as a grain of salt. As a grain of salt. Take it finely. Do not allow the potency to overpower or overburden your own potency, your own strength. Don't do it. It is quite unnecessary to speak here of your lordship's deeds. They are too recent, too illustrious, too intimately connected with the history and the glory of the British Empire. Wishing your excellency long to enjoy a reputation thus acquired and merited, I have the honor to remain your lordship's most obedient, humble servant. J.A.S. Buchanan, New York, the 1st of May, 1821. These motherfuckers was not playing. Now look. Let's go ahead and get it in. The preface right here. Like I said, I'm not trying to be long-winded, but I'm going to go ahead and, just going to go ahead and get it in. In attempting to lay before the public a sketch of the history of the Red Indians in North America with a view to excite a general sympathy in behalf of an oppressed and suffering people, I am aware of the great importance of my undertaking and sensibly feel my inability to stand forward as an advocate in any degree equal to the task I have thus imposed on myself. With but few exceptions, the American Indians have been abandoned by the Christian world as a cruel, bloodthirsty, and treacherous race, incapable of civilization and therefore unworthy of that attention which the inhabitants of other barbarous climes have received from the zeal and devotion of many learned and pious members of society. Thousands have raised their voices against the wrongs of our black brethren of Africa. From one end of Europe to the other, the humane have been aroused to a sense of their injuries and are now actively engaged in the prosecution of every measure calculated to alleviate their sufferings. While but few have been stimulated to similar exertions in behalf of the Red American Indians, from whose native soil the wealth of a great portion of the civilized world has been derived, the African is submissive. His patient endurance of labor renders his servile and debased state important to us. He is therefore preserved. The North American Indian, on the contrary, prefers banishment and even death to slavery, but his lands are serviceable to us. Therefore, his extinction, continuing, his extinction seems to be desired. The one submits to the yoke, we oppress and pity him. The other disdains to become the servant of man, and his whole race is devoted to gradual extermination. For such must be the inevitable consequence of all those measures which have been and still are in operation against him. Though their infliction is marked by different shades of guilt in a few ages, perhaps a few years, these sons of Edom will be so far removed from the reach or eye of any but those engaged in a work of destruction, that no trace will be left to posterity of the wrongs which have been perpetrated upon the aborigines of the great American continent. Now, I've read that before. I've presented this information before. This is why it's one of my favorites. And this is why I repeat this information. We can't be bullshitting out here, y'all. If y'all have any questions, once again, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer. See, I have questions, right? Myself, I have questions. I enjoy dialogue. I'm not a Mr. Know-it-all. I'm not trying to convince, convert. I'm not trying to do none of that bullshit. But I would like to speak to the people, my people, that is. If I was speaking to my people, I would like to engage the foreigners. I do enjoy engaging foreigners as well. Oftentimes, though, foreigners, they've been so thoroughly fucking programmed to train, they have nothing to offer in discussion, in conversation. There's absolutely nothing for me to benefit unless I have selfish interest and intent. Like, I'm aware of so many ways to exploit so many different kinds of people, so many different species, rather. It just has not been my choice to do so. But one question that I have is, how, at what point did the African become viewed as being submissive? At what point in time? And since the foreigners have that kind of perspective of the African, well, shouldn't we have the same perspective? I mean, after all, we do have treaties with these foreigners, right? I have yet to see our people with a treaty with the Africans. Like, these are just simple questions that I have. I need to engage some people about these questions. I'm generally occupied often. They have been gradually wasting away from the effects of cruelty and oppression, unheeded and unpitied until their aggregate numbers, it is conjectured, has been reduced to less than 2 million. These are projections like a motherfucker. You see, the foreigners, you have to understand the different authors' writing styles. I mean, I've studied a lot of different shit. I've read various authors. You have a Helena P. Blavatsky, you got Ayn Rand, you have fucking what the fuck is this dude's name? You got Manly P. Hall. I mean, you got some incredible fucking authors out there. So many different authors. And when you become familiar with different authors' writing styles, where they come from, Russians, people with Russian influence, people with English, German influence, Dutch influence, French influence, Spanish influence, Italian influence, I mean, Niccolo Machiavelli. I mean, these motherfuckers was thorough goddamn writers. They was thorough. But keep in mind, these authors, they are, in their literature, they are extending what's in their minds to their reader, to whoever reads their literature. That's all they're doing. What's in their minds, that entails their beliefs, their philosophies, their thought patterns, how they were groomed, what they was associated with. It's so many variables associated to each and every author. It's good to get to know the author, what their intent is, who they are in association with, why they wrote what they wrote. We have to do a Q&A within ourselves, like, why did you think that way? Why was this in your mind? What was your experience to even come to this point where you perceive this particular subject matter in the way in which you do? Because I disagree with what you're saying as an author. I disagree with your literature. It's okay to disagree with the literature. Unlike what they tell you in fucking public school, trying to drill into your head that, yeah, we're gonna test you on this book. You gotta write an essay about this book, and your thesis is incorrect, and all kinds of dumb shit. How are we gonna subject ourselves to shit that doesn't make sense? If we have an issue with what we're reading, by default, it is our right to address that issue. There's so many issues out here. And most of these issues have been transliterated. Contracts, agreements, privacy policies, terms of use, and da 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 da. Who's the author of this shit? Especially when we need to address violations of our rights. As this author says here, they don't pity us. They have no pity for our people. Look at this. A sufficient number, however, yet remains to excite our sympathy, the wrongs which have been inflicted upon their whole race. They view our American people as a race of people, have furnished ample regions for the occupancy of civilized man. This is their mindset. These books were not written for us. I don't know how many times I can say that. These books were not written for us. This was written for them. Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and you was writing these texts. Imagine that. Imagine what your audience would consist of. Imagine that. I'm just saying. Imagine what your audience would consist of. Who are you writing to? Right? And does not our past neglect of their suffering and abandoned state loudly call upon us to make reparation for the ills they have endured, to return to acts of justice, mercy, and kindness? And though late, to recommend to the surviving Indians the religion we profess, by all those means which the gospel enjoys? Question mark. So this audience here is to Christians. These are the same foreign Christians that have influenced the same quote unquote black Christians that have been within our communities, who do not give a fuck, do not pity our people, who are complicit in a conspiracy to deprive our people of their rights, deprive our people of their property, and etc. And I showed y'all before, Sublimis Day, slash sublimis deus, where it says that our American people, it is forbidden to enslave us or deprive us of our rights or our property. I just showed y'all that text. So therefore, I'm encouraging awareness. And this is one of my favorite books because, you know, as you see, there's good questions in here. It offers great perspective. Please check it out, yeah. You know, free to download. You know, all these books are free. You ain't got to order it on Amazon. You ain't got to support foreign media. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is have internet access. You could download this shit on your phone. You could download it right on your phone. Please, if you are so inclined to do so, share it with your youth. You know, while you're doing your genealogy, you know, these books will provide insight and perspective. You know, these books, they go into detail of our various peoples, their locations, as you see the titles. Let's go back real quick. Sketches of the history, manners, and customs of the North American Indians. This is just one of so many books. Let me show you. When you go down to the bottom of the page, you do this on your smartphone. Got a series more of books here. We got an Old Humphrey here. That may be the one I need to look at. Old Humphrey there. So I'm looking for a particular text that has some very particular information in it. You know, there are some great books out there, y'all. Publisher, Tennessee, Nashville, Southern Methodist Publishing House. That shows you the Christian and foreign religious influence. It shows it to you. Therefore, you cannot take these books as being the end all be all. Because they're coming with their perspective. We have to be mindful of that. We have to maintain our own quality awareness. We cannot let these people, anybody, speak for us. That proves, if you allow someone to speak for you, that proves that they are more dominant than you are. That proves that you are submissive, to them. Why would you allow yourself to be submissive when you come from powerful, dominant people? Our American people come from this. Our American people have always been competitive amongst ourselves. And I've said this before, I believe I said it on A4 Media. What would it be like if our American people decided that we wanted to conquer the world? If we wanted to enforce a manifest destiny, let's say our American people decided that we wanted to clean up the world. All of the corruption, all of the perversions in which the world engages in. But that is, from what I'm aware of, that's unnatural for us to engage in. Why the fuck should we fucking enlist ourselves to be your guardian or to take your responsibility when we're responsible for ourselves? As you should be responsible for yourselves, right? I mean, this is just, you know, some simple shit, right? But yeah, as I mentioned, yo, this is one of my favorite books here. You know, please go through it. Check it out. Now, I'm going to close with this one. Close with this page right here. All right. Indian allies were entitled to a premium for every scalp of an enemy. That means that they turned our people into mercenaries against each other. Same shit that we see today. It's just different. It's just a little different now. But Indian allies were entitled to a premium for every scalp of an enemy. In the war preceding 1703, the government of Massachusetts gave £12 for every Indian scalp. In that year, the premium was raised to 40 pounds, but in 1722, it was augmented to 100 pounds, a sum sufficient to purchase a considerable extent of American land. Keep in mind these words: a sum sufficient to purchase. Purchase is a great legal word. We're talking about law now because you're acquiring property that ties into rights and etc. And also, this is pertaining to American land. An act was passed on 25th of February, 1745 by the American colonial legislator. Now, see, we need people to further research on who in the fuck was the American colonial legislator and who the fuck are their offspring today. Because this ties into that old money shit that reinvest throughout centuries. I mean, 2045 is coming up quite soon, isn't it? 2045? That's not that far away. 2045 ain't that far away. That's 300 years right there, right? Entitled an act for giving a reward for such scalps, etc., etc. No content, not content with this execrable pollution of their minds by the agency of lucre, we have sown party division among the Indians. Pay attention. It says that they have sown. The foreigners are saying they have sown party division amongst our American people. They've sown it. So therefore, when we read this kind of literature, we read these kind of texts, right? Does that mean we can undo what they've done? When we are aware that they've done something, then that should mean logically that we should undo it, especially when it's not by our own doing. Party division among the Indians, which in all its discordant shapes rages with uncontrolled sway. This is very strategic language here. Their nations are split up into fragments. The son is arrayed against the father. Are we seeing that in 2018? Brother against brother, families against families, tribes against tribes, canton against canton. Are they divided into factions, religious, political, and personal? Christian and pagan, American and British? The followers of Corn Planter and Sagwaha, Oskanadoy and Captain Peter. The minister of destruction is hovering over them. And before the passing away of the present generation, not a single Iroquois will be seen in the state of New York. And there's a footnote there. That is, the footnote references DeWitt Clinton. We need to take a look at DeWitt Clinton. Who the fuck is he? Because that's what he believed. That's what he said. Who the fuck is DeWitt Clinton to say that shit? Who sanctioned him to say that shit? Keep in mind, this was written to the foreigners. This was not written to our people. And to this day, our people is not reading this shit. To this very day, our people's not reading this shit. And to this day, we got some new shit called crisis casting or crisis cast, where they are selling propaganda. They are producing propaganda, and they're hiring people that look like us. Your neighbor could work for them. If there's any grandfathers and grandmothers out there, question, would you want your grandchildren and your children to be working for motherfucking crisis casting and shit like that? Where these actors are giving false portrayals of your people being killed and injured and abused and shit like that? Because this is where we are. This is what's being shown throughout social media, and social media is also in general media right now. To be or not to be? They say it's a question. I say it's an answer. Tomahawk Tony says to be or not to be is an answer. It's not a question. It's an answer. Either you're gonna be or you're not gonna be. Not gonna be responsible, not gonna be aware, not gonna be dutiful, not gonna be a guardian, not gonna be a protector, not gonna honor your heritage, not gonna respect, appreciate, maintain the dignity, honor, integrity of not only yourself but your people. I mean, these are choices. I'm not trying to be no lecturer. I'm not trying to be no teacher, no scholar. I ain't trying to be none of that shit. I'm simply being me. I'm amongst my people, man. I'm amongst all kinds of people. You know, and I appreciate my people. Simply wanting to, simply desire to encourage awareness amongst my people, man, because we need it. I've had my experiences, still have experiences, but I'm looking forward. I'm working towards better and greater experiences, you know? And I appreciate my people that want the same. Please check out these books. Some of these books I've already posted in A4 Book Club. I will be posting in A4 Book Club very soon. I got a laundry list of books. I got a laundry list. I know some people recently came out this year with, you know, books and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? They released their book list and all of that. That's great. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in A4, you know, we deal with a certain quality, man. That's just what it is. We deal with a certain quality when it comes to literature. We got people of various backgrounds and experiences, man. I mean, there's archaeologists. I'm talking about real world archaeologists in A4, and they information is not no bullshit. We got various PhDs that engage our people that don't have PhDs, ain't never been to college, dropped out of high school, all kinds of shit. And yo, we get along quite well. No arguments and debates amongst us. But then we also have, you know, within the general group, A4, you know what I'm saying? You know, but, you know, he made it available for the people to benefit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, people, they learn in their time. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got these random people that come in and they want to, you know, present their foreign programming, and they want to instigate, and they want to demonize and engage in character assassination and defamation of our people's character. Because if in A4, if you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. It's that simple. We got some serious intellectual motherfuckers in A4, man. They will come at you from various sides and angles. You want to deal with the law aspect. You want to deal with the social aspect. You want to deal with the real world aspect, political, whatever. Yo, we ready to go. The thing is, though, right? This is the thing. This is my opinion on this. The thing is, we need our people to be on the same page and the same rate in which the foreigners are on the same page. How is it? This is an example here, all right? And I'm concluding, by the way, yeah, I'm concluding. And I'm gonna conclude with this. How is it that throughout just North America alone, we got Chinatowns? I haven't been to every city, but in major cities such as New York, DC, California, there are numerous Chinatowns in California. Numerous Chinatowns in California. And each of these Chinatowns are on the same page. They sell pretty much the same chopsticks. They supply themselves with the same soy sauces, same teriyaki sauces, same fucking duck sauces, same motherfucking hot mustard sauces, and all kinds of shit. They doing the damn thing for themselves, right? They're on the same page. And that's the thing. Our American people getting on the same page. China had a history of warfare. I don't know if y'all ever paid attention to the history of China, but they had they had a long history of war. They shit is thoroughly documented, and they keep their people on point via the productions in which come out of China. Pardon, y'all, I grew up watching kung fu flicks and shit. Some of those films, man, real fucking history. Like, I mean, if you're a person that values history and literature, things of that nature, and you value being aware and knowledgeable on various subject matters, yeah. Chinese history is quite fucking interesting, man. Their shit is elaborate. So many people's history is elaborate. But China was one in which, I did pay attention to because, it was amazing to me how these people, they was at war internally. And then they unified the whole fucking country. I mean, they call it communistic and all of this shit, but I mean, goddamn, they got their people in order like a motherfucker. Everybody's on the same page, and fast forward, so many years later, they're wealthy as fuck. Chinese hotels got motherfucking Rolls Royces and Bentleys and shit like that in front of them motherfuckers, apparently, right? Now, I haven't been there, but apparently that's what's going on. China did that. At the same time, they did also pollute the entire fucking world, apparently. Everybody got like dumb amounts of plastic. The Chinese caste system is crazy. Now, I'm not saying that China is a model. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying we can observe, analyze, create our own analogies. Pardon me. We create our own hypothesis. And we can create what is desirable for ourselves, as we've always done, without foreign influence. Keep in mind, y'all, when the foreigners arrived here, they arrived to a paradise. It is documented. They arrived to a paradise. Our people was building mounds. They arrived to seeing the mounds that our people built. They arrived to see our people taking care of themselves, each other, to our people interacting with each other, speaking numerous languages of our own. As I mentioned on a live previously, I contacted Two Hawks the other day. Shouts to Two Hawks. Shouts to A4 Book Club also. Shouts to everybody A4. You know what I mean? Shouts to all our American people, by the way. Shouts to everybody that be disliking as well. Nah, they a separate category. But anyway, making a joke. Yeah. Algonquin was a trade language. Algonquin was a trade language. It was common. It was commonly spoken. Aquine. So many different words, man. We got to get back to what's ours, period. We got to continue creating, period. And we cannot allow motherfuckers to sabotage our creative nature, to claim our intellectual property, to claim any of our property, including our individual peoples, man. I spoke to an elder some years ago. The elder was speaking quite selfishly. I responded to the elder saying that if one fall, all falls. Therefore, we cannot allow not one of our people to fall. Period. And I'm dead ass serious about that. We cannot allow not one of our peoples any of our people to fall, not one of our nations, not one individual member of our not one individual kin. The kin, and shouts to Aboriginal Mac for reinforcing kinship. Kinship over membership, y'all. And this is why genealogy is important. This is why our relatives, I mean, do you all think about your great, 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 great grands? Your grands, your grand chiefs, let's say that. You think about your grand chiefs? In Chata, right? The Ohoyos, the Aptoks. Do you think about the Abamingos, the Minko Ohoyos, the Minko Hatoks? You gotta think about them. Do you ask yourselves, do you ask them how they would perceive what's going on today? Because this is what we can do. This is what we should do, in my opinion. Like I said, yo, I encourage awareness, man. And I'm aware that there's a lot of bullshit going on. And so how I counter the bullshit that's going on, you know, like they say, counterintelligence, right? This right here is counterintelligence. This literature, you know what I mean? Engaging the minds of these people that have set this pretty much in stone. This literature tonight that I've shown you, they set this shit in stone. Like these books were etched back in the day. Look up etching. Look that shit. Look up how that was a hell of an investment back in the day. Compare etching then to just preparing a Word document now and just printing the shit, making an ebook and etc. Making you know, books that are being mass produced. I mean, paper is cheap as fuck. Shit, they GMO'd the fuck out of paper a long time ago. You can make paper out of anything now. I mean, shit, motherfuckers printing on plastic. Shit, yo, much appreciation to y'all. See, it's 8 of y'all watching. Yo, y'all be good. You know what I mean? Take care of each other, man. Get at your peoples. You know what I mean? Take care of your peoples, man. You know? Get into your genealogy. You know what I mean? Kill confusion. Kill foreign media. Kill your TV. Kill propaganda. You know what I mean? A4 Truth. African-American Africans. Coward season's over. Tomahawk Tony, and I'm gone. Y'all appreciate it. Appreciate yourselves, though.